All right.
Hey, Darren, why don't you tell us, first of all, just a little bit about yourself? I know you're an aspiring teacher. You're a college student now.
Yes, I am Darren Ray Waddles. I am a Rubio delegate from Mountain View, Arkansas. Mind you, that was an at-large delegate, so I ran across the whole state. And I am going towards education. I have a major in political science, a double minor in secondary education, and in history. And I'm just glad to be here.
Sounds like the makings of a social studies teacher. Is that where you think you're
social
headed?
Studies is the way I'm heading. Yes.
All right. Well, first of all, you just mentioned that you were a Rubio delegate. Can you tell me why you were excited originally about Marco Rubio?
Marco Rubio, let's be honest. He was young, fresh, and he carried on the ideas that most millennials my age, what we believed in, and that was my number one pick. And definitely, after that, and you get really involved. Of course, I ran as a delegate, and here I am.
Were you excited? Are you excited about Donald Trump, and how do you think he'll be on education?
Now, I like to be completely transparent. Of course, Donald Trump wasn't my first pick, nor was he my second or third. But here we are, and he is the nominee. I believe that the people spoke, and I'm backing him 100%. And the more I look into the education, in fact, he honestly believes in states' rights, and I'm a Republican, so of course I believe in states' rights, and I'm from the South, dadgummit. But definitely education is something that should be handled more along with the states. Sure, an argument can be made that there should be a universal education system, but there needs to be some maintenance within each state. That's what the Constitution says, and I think that's the route and the avenue that we should take.
Do you think there should be a U.S. Department of Education?
Do I believe there should be a U.S. Department of Education? Well, I really don't know. It's just a matter of how we want to approach it. We can continue on as we're doing, which I don't think is that hot. We could do, as I say, we could limit it into such a form in which we do have an overseer, but the states have the right to adjust what the overseer. For instance, Common Core. Right now, there's people, as you're well aware, and most people are aware, that there are the nays and the yays on the issue. But I think, say if the federal government gave the states the option of Common Core, that they could also take that as a blueprint, but mend it and tailor it to the way they would like to adjust it for their students. Because, of course, these are the families within their communities. They should have more right and say than those at the top.
So overall, would you say Common Core is a good thing or a bad thing?
From what I've understood it, I like with some of the stuff it says. Now, I do not have the experience enough to say that it's good overall. But within social studies, I like the concepts. I've talked to several social studies teachers who I'm experienced. Sure, again, there's those that don't like how it's divvied up, but if we take it into the approach of where the state can adjust it, then we could get more of a consensus on board. I don't think the concept, all in all, at least speaking social studies wise, I don't think it's as bad as some people like to say. Now, of course, there are the concerns with the math aspect of it, but I don't have the experience enough to argue or say.
Right, fair enough. What do you think of the Every Student Succeeds Act? That's the new law that replaced No Child Left Behind.
The Every Student Succeeds Act, I think, is a step in the right direction. It was a bipartisan legislation, of course, and I'm not saying that all bipartisan legislation is the best, but it was a step in the right direction, in which obviously there is a consensus in that direction that states should have some say in what's going on. And we'll see as the years go on how this legislation will turn out.
Okay, great. And our last question is on transgender students. Do you think that transgender students should be protected by federal sex discrimination laws?
Well, when it comes down to it, I think that the laws already protect them as is. I don't see how this ever became an issue. I think it's a simple issue. Sure, an argument can be made for some. There are those with, well, I hate to just go out and, I mean, you have hermaphrodites and whatnot, that an argument can be made because they're neither or. But in all aspects, if you're, say, a homosexual and you want to go and use the other restroom, I do not think that is appropriate. It's always been male and female, always. I haven't seen it any other way. So why you think after the centuries that we should just change it, I think it's just ludicrous.
All right, fair enough. Anything else that you want to talk about on education and the campaign?
Well, it's going to be an interesting one to see how it all turns out. I know, and this is surprising. I expected a lot more out of Hillary Clinton when it comes to education. This is not really the field of structuring, and after looking into both platforms and just seeing what both had to say about the other, Hillary Clinton's just taking the safe avenue of just saying things like, it needs to be better. Well, how are we going to make it better? That's the thing. Now, sure, a lot of people get Donald Trump, give him a lot of heck for being too vague on things, but I think he's been pretty clear on how he thinks education should go. And I think definitely Donald Trump is the right way to go when it comes to education this year.
All right. Well, hey, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Oh.